Hey guys, welcome to another review. Mr. P. Today we're doing something that I've been incredibly excited about, and I know a lot of other people have as well. So let's just get into it. Today I'm doing the Hana Mods V3 clone review. This is a Cloupor, however you pronounce it, clone. This has come from Jayz on the group, doing group buys for the group. I've mentioned this before. So this has come from Jayz. Now the price of this delivered from Jayz was 65 quid. 65 quid including postage, first class recorded or signed for, whatever it is, special, I can't remember, to your door, but either way it was next day. So that's what I'm doing today. So there she is. Now with branding, with logo, not with Mr. P I guess, but that is what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down, I'm going to show you it, let you have a proper look, and then obviously, you know, do the normal amount of flappery-doogan when I come back up. Right guys, a quick little close-up of the Hana Mods clone by Cloupor, however you want to say it. This is the branded one. Naughty Mr. Proton, but hey ho, that's what it is. So let's have a quick look around. On the top you've got your 510 with your air paths cut in just there, hope you can see that. Nice little positive pin, and your well exactly the same as the Hana. Around the body, I mean there's not loads going on, to be honest with you. You've got a vent hole at the bottom, and then you've got your down and up switch, and then your fire button. Fire button's recessed and countersunk slightly more than the down and ups, obviously like they're all Hana. On the back, a couple of screws, bosh bosh, and then you have your Hana Mods V3 on the back, and then on the front we have serial 832 Hana Mods, again logo in, or branding, and then you've got, you know, your screen cut out there. So fairly simple stuff. If you've seen the Hana, you've seen this, and vice versa, to be honest with you. A few little bits and bobs about it. First of all, 30 watts, up to 30 watts, and I'm telling you that is an accurate 30 watts. So, you know, easily adjusted, just hold it down and it will cycle through. When you reach the limit, which we're about to do, it stops. No round robin on this. No atomizer attached at the minute, so we're reading nothing. Check atomizer just there, and 4.1 volts is what it last fired at. So fairly simple stuff. Now a couple of bits and bobs about it. Fire click on and off, lock to click 5 times. From there it will not fire. A couple of the modes, hold down the power button and the down button. Normal mode. Keep going. Stealth mode. So now in stealth mode, when you unlock, check atomizer when you fire. But if I was to apply an atomizer, I've got a K-Fun over here. Apply an atomizer. Oh, hello. Same as the genuine DNA. Screw her on. Fires, but nothing's displayed on the screen. So that is stealth mode. I'll leave that at you where it is for now. So if we now turn it back off, I don't like using stealth mode, I like to see what's going on. So power and fire, a down button, sorry not fire button, down button and fire button together, display stealth mode, then back into normal mode. So now we're in normal mode, unlock, and we've got our nice bright screen back. Now the screen does dim down, okay, and gets brighter when you fire it. I've noticed when this thing does go into sleep, Rip said that it didn't fire up when he put it into sleep. This does, it just has about half a second delay. So you push the fire button, it's not in sleep at the minute, I'm not going to wait for it to do so, push the fire button and then boom, it fires up and off we go. Now another cool thing, same as with all DNA, click it 5 times to lock it, and then a power button and up button, hold them in, left mode, and it will display left mode, and then right mode. So we're now in right mode, so it means now the screen is facing towards the buttons. Now I actually hold this like that when I use it. A lot will hold it like that, in which case you may prefer it in right mode, but because of the way that I use it, I like it in left mode. So we'll flick back, both the up and the fire button together, right mode, skadoosh, left mode, and we're locked. So click it 5 times and we're back on. Now about the screen, it's the same as the DNA 30 screen. You've got from here, you've got your battery level indication, you've got your resistance and your voltage indication and your wattage setting. So fairly cool stuff. Just take this Atty back off again. Now in the box, I will mention what you get in the box when you buy this from Jayz. You do get a little miniature screwdriver, which I've stuck somewhere. There it is. Okay, you get that. It came bubble wrapped, it came boxed. Okay, it also came with a USB charger, which is actually in my car, if I'm honest with you. And it comes with some paperwork. Now, standard stuff with paperwork, but it's quite extensive. It's a full A4 sheet, a couple of bits of bobs, some of the stuff you'll be used to if you go onto a Volvo website, this kind of operating voltages and temperatures and so on. It's got recommended batteries here, so 7 to 20 watts. You've got the AW, IMR or the Panasonic CGRs, or 20 plus watts. You've got Sony VTC4s. That's cool to recommend that, but with the VTC5s and the 35 amp e-fests out there, 2500, 2600 mAh, there really is no reason to be using those AWs. To be honest with you, buy the battery for 7 or 8 quid and jobs are good, and I quite like that. Micro USB port at the front. Like I say, you do get a cable. This isn't the cable to come with it, but this is just one that I have lying around. Stick it in, bosh, pass through. Now I'm going to try and show you this. You see that red light just there? Okay, now the genuine will have a red light, and actually the plastic ones have a red light and it goes green when it's finished charging. This does not do that. That isn't actually a light, it's an LED at the back, but it's not red for a specific reason. It's actually a white LED that's reflecting through the red casing behind here, and I will show you that in a second. It does not have an indication when it's full, so you kind of have to guess, and I don't find that to be the most accurate, that battery reader. When it says full, I don't necessarily think the battery's completely full. I think it's just, you know, it's full at stage. But basically, if I take it off charge when that battery says full, I find I don't get it to last as long as when I do want to give it a 4-hour charge, and typically a 4-hour charge seems to charge this battery right up like it would in my normal charger. It's just going to sleep mode, so I'll show you that here. Where's my Yeti? Let's just grab that and screw on real quick. Oh. It's always difficult when you're doing this, so gravity works against you. So, you know, basically, push, comes on, and then bosh, we're away. So about half a second delay, but it does fire straight up when in sleep mode, so there's no double pushing, which is actually a bonus. So there you go. I'm going to show you in the back very quickly. Like I say, do get a little screwdriver with it. I'm going to use one of my own. This screwdriver is used for absolutely everything. It's bent, it's in pieces, and I love it. So quickly undo the back screws, which is a bonus because you can obviously change the battery for a full battery, or alternatively you can then pass through it if you wanted to, but you've got the option. You haven't got to pass through like a lot of these DNA builds, or you know, DNA clone builds. You haven't got to, which is a bonus. So back pops off like that. I've got 35 amp e-fest in here, lovely stuff. Now in the back, now the only thing I'm not overly happy about on my one is that battery box there. It seems to have been a battery box, doesn't quite fit, so they've cut it to fit in. But I've seen others and that's not been the case. Battery pops out from the top, Mr. P, from the top. Naughty Mr. P. I do believe my paperwork is still here. Yes, it is. This came in the battery slot, actually sat in it. And there you go. Battery must be installed the proper position. So basically, positive up, okay, like that. Okay, do not stick it the wrong way around, because I imagine, like DNA, this chip does not have reverse polarity protection. Some Hana mods logo in there, not necessarily necessary if you ask me. I'm not going to go to the trouble taking this perspex off because there's lots of wires and higgledy-piggledy stuff going in there, but you can see what's in there. Okay, and when you get it, it's a simple case of have a battery charged, make sure we're in the right way, pop her in like so, push the back on, make sure the back is on the right way. It is, because you look like a wally if it's not. Drop your screws in. Oh, hello. Drop your screw in there, and then just screw it down like so. Simple as that. So that is a quick up close of the Cloupor Hana clone. Back up to me now for a little vape and a flappery-doo again. Right guys, welcome back up. As you see in the close-up, it's pretty spot on, to be honest with you. The only real differences between this and a genuine Hana at a glance would be the screen's definitely brighter on this than it is in legit DNA 30. That I noticed pretty much straight away, to be honest. Sorry, phone's going off. That I noticed pretty much straight away, to be honest. It is a lot brighter. Now it does dull when left for a minute, but not massively, you know. So it does dull a little bit, but not by loads. And either way, it's still brighter than a DNA 30 screen. So that's a noticeable difference. One. Second noticeable difference I showed you in the close-up is that red light, which isn't actually a red light, bit of fluff, isn't actually a red light at all. It's you know, the perspex on the back of in the back of the internals. It's a light reflective off of that. But either way, it works out to be red, so we're going to call it a red light. That doesn't change to green when it's full. Now, someone on the group did approach Cloupor and ask whether this had a charging light to turn green. They said no, it does not. In fact, it doesn't have any light, it's the perspex. And then it was also asked whether it had overcharge protection, and they happily said it does. And, you know, vouch for that. Not had any problems with it, you know, just leave it on. As I said in the close-up, don't find that battery indication to be a true representation of the battery status, because you see in the close-up that it was full. Now, I've only had a few puffs off of it, and it's now dropped down, okay? So I don't find that to be really a true indication. When it's full, when it hits full, it's not full. It will be full, it will say it's full when it is full, but you don't know when that is from when it hits full to when it is actually full. So I tend to give this, if I want to charge this to full, I'll give it a good few hour charge. Alternatively, you can just pop the back off and stick in a battery that you know is fully charged off of a charger, you know, Nike or whatever you've got. So, I mean, that's, the Fastech one has that indication of the lights, you know, to show you when it is full. So they could have included it, is all I'm saying. It would have been nice. It's a feature that's kind of missing, if you ask me. Other than that, there is no real discernible difference. The numbers it hits are spot on, and it's not a case of it's a little bit, I mean, don't get me wrong, my testing methods aren't the most advanced in the world, and the reviewers that have them probably won't review this, so up to them. But the numbers that I were able to crunch on this were spot on. It hit every number it was supposed to. You know, I'm running this with a Purple EFS 35 amp, and that helps. Running this on the less capable batteries might not allow that chipset to push as hard. Now, people say it's regulated, so it will. I've used mods, and the 30 amp batteries, 35 amp batteries definitely make a difference in those mods when they're trying to hit the high numbers, especially when the battery is low. But it definitely hits numbers. This is a genuine 30 watts. What I'm vaping at now, this is a Zenith on a 1.6 ohm, and it says it's doing 7 watts. I've actually got a watts calculator, so we'll test it. Why not? Let's see if it says 7 to start with, shall we? Watts calculator, volts, 7 ohms, 1.6, and that's actually saying 30.6 watts. Now, have I got my little dingle dangle for hand? Hopefully I have. I may have stuff it back in here. If not, you know, you guys like to see this stuff, so I will do my best to show you. There we are. Got my little tankometer here. Now, it's not the most accurate thing, it's not, but it gives you an idea. You know, this thing won't actually show, you know, won't actually fire without an amp on top, so I'm going to go straight into delving with that. But you know, you see what it said. It said 1.6 ohms, 7 volts is what it should be pushing. We put this on. Hopefully, it won't change that. Okay, adding that to the mix, it still says 1.6 ohms, but it's now adjusted that voltage to 6.9. So obviously, that's done something. But so as you can see, hopefully, 6.9 volts there, 6.7, 6.6. 6.6. Let's see what that actually works out to be. So let's do it on the worst one. 6.6. Now, when I tested before, to be honest with you, hitting every number. 6.6 volts works out to be 27.5 watts. But you know, even that being the case, I don't really care. I mean, a tankometer adding to that would definitely contribute. So it will be slightly closer than that because of my simplistic testing methods. But it gives you an idea of what it's actually doing there. And obviously, the fact that I was able to use the tankometer with this proves it's not pulse width modulated, so it's a consistent voltage. Now, someone did mention in the group earlier who was using like a Vamo, and they said, I don't know whether it's just me, but this definitely tastes better than the Vamo. The Vamo would go from 3 to 6, 3 to 6, up and down, up and down, up and down, to regulate average voltage, whereas this actually hits that voltage in the same way a mech would when it's push 4.2 or 4.1 under load. This is the same thing, it will hit that and it will push that consistent voltage as opposed to up, down, up, down, up, down. When you're using a Vamo and whatever else, that's what you're tasting. If you go back to it, it's the voltage doing this. So yes, it does taste better on this, and it's a similar thing to the Pravari, to be honest with you. I do want to say I have tested the Pravari similarly to how I just tested this, and even that was 0.1 under. So I think we can blame the tankometer for a little bit of that, so in which case we'll call it 28.5 watts at worst this is hitting. It's close enough for me anyway, but there you go. Other than that, The buttons, lovely and clicky as they should be. Everything feels as it should do. The screen location, everything's right. The logo, that shouldn't be there, according to a lot of people, is right. It's spot on. It really is. I'm going to just go into a 5.6 point here, actually, in fact, after I have a puff of this. Any stuff that comes to me, I'll go along on the way, but yep, it's lovely. Right, now, first thing would be looks. Now, it's hard to, gauge whether you are or not going to like something without holding it. I'm a fan of box mods, a lot of people aren't. But the looks wise, it's a 10. I love it. Would I be bothered if that Hana logo wasn't there? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be bothered if it's not there. It's about a device for me. In some cases it's nice to have it, on certain mechs and stuff where it's engraving. But in this case, it wouldn't bother me at all if that wasn't there. But looks is getting a 10 from me. Usability. Now, you open the back with screws, so you have a screwdriver to open the back, and it's quite a small Phillips, or you could use a small flathead like I did. Put a battery in. Once it's in there, you can charge it through the USB, but you've got the option to change at the back. You build your coil, stick it on top, it tells you any relevant warnings here. Switching into stealth mode is easy enough, switching into left and right mode and out of all of them modes is easy enough. So for usability, for what it is, I'm going to give it a 10. I mean, compared to like a mech, obviously it's not as usable as a mech. It's harder to use. Sorry, not necessarily not as usable, it's harder to use than a mech. But other than that, using the device as it comes is spot on. It really is. The well on the top's 23mm, so you'll get your Typhon in there if you wanted to. If that's what you run, your Typhon will fit. I do want to say, on a day-to-day basis, there are other things that are easier to use than this, but they're all mechs. I'm going to be honest with you, like my Fortune, when I'm driving, it's a lot easier for me to use my Fortune than it is for me to use this, because my Fortune pick up, push, and it's simple as that. This, you have to pick up and putting it down is harder. I'm not saying you should be vaping when you're driving, but I do, and most of you will. But it's no more difficult than any other VV would. Anything with a screen or a button that's not on the bottom, or anything, anything you may have to unlock. So usability is getting a 10. I just thought it'd be worth sort of mentioning, if you like. Maintenance of it. Now, the maintenance is really just cleaning it up, unless you encounter an issue with your Hana clone. So it's a 10. Now, there are some that have had issues. The version 1 had, this is a version 2. There are version 1 ones that had issues. If you rate vapes them, they shut down. It hasn't had this overheating problem, to be honest with you, on this, and I've used this hard and no problem whatsoever. I've been using this for about a week now, and yeah, like I say, sweet as a nut the whole way through, not one problem with this so far. So yeah, maintenance is just it's a standard maintenance thing. Clean your threads in your connection and wipe over the device now and again. Other than that, there's nothing to maintain apart from battery level. So it's a 10. It's just, it's easy as that, really. Now, build quality and price would be the next of the 5 point hitter. In fact, it isn't a 6 because there's no flavour vapor involved. Of the 5 point hitter. Now, build quality, apart from that battery box, at the back where it looks like it's kind of been shaved off to fit in the case, and I do want to say that I've held Grant's clone from the group and his doesn't have that, so a little bit of inconsistency maybe. Other than that, the build quality is spectacular. It's absolutely outstanding. The alley box is lovely, hardcore stuff, like the legitimate one. Everything's where it should be. Nothing's falling apart. The connection at the top is lovely. The 510, the USB port's lovely. Everything is right. Everything is where it's meant to be. The paint is a great job. So the build quality is getting a 10 without a shadow of a doubt. Price is 65 quid delivered. There are a lot of things out there at 65 quid delivered, if I'm perfectly honest with you. So I think the price is a 10. I do. I think with 65 quid you're getting a VW mod that will hit 30 watts. There aren't, the 722 doesn't go as high as that, but a legitimate one, if we compare it to the price of that, 180 quid, this is a third of the price, and you're getting pretty much the same thing without being genuine, obviously. But when it comes to what you're doing and how you're vaping, it's pretty much the same thing. So for the price, it's definitely a 10. Build quality versus price, you're getting well worth your money's worth. 65 quid delivered. Honestly, it's a little pocket rocket. It's hard as nails. It does everything it's supposed to. It looks awesome. It's available in loads of colours, which is nice. And it is what it's supposed to be. So yeah, build quality versus price, definitely a 10. Overall, there's one thing with this I've noticed. Okay, and it's more of a gremlin, I think, because when I first thought it was happening, I thought I was going mad, if I'm perfectly honest with you. But there is one little niggle thing with this that I've noticed that happens, and I don't think it happens to anyone else's, and I thought I was going mad until I made sure that I wasn't. I will put this down now and again, and I've been trying to work out what triggers it, but it seems to be whenever it wants to. It doesn't happen super often, probably twice a day, but it does happen. I'll be vaping at 30 watts. The reason I mentioned this is it just happened. I'll be vaping this at 30 watts as I was, and I'll not vape it for a minute, and I'll pick it up and I'll push it, and then I don't notice any difference in vape consistency, vape quality, but out of the corner of my eye I'll look at the screen and that number's changed. Now it's only ever by 0.1 or 0.2, and it's not me catching the button because they're clicky, you'd hear it. Okay, but it's only ever by 0.1 or 0.2, and it's always down. So I will be vaping. The other day I was vaping a K-Fun 15.5 watts, lovely, really enjoying it. Looked down, I think that's 15.3, and I think, am I going off my head? And then I kept an eye on it, and I kept making sure that I looked at the watch before I put it down, and then I pick it back up again, and it's changed. Like just then, it went from 30 to 29.9. Now I've been trying to work out what it was. I thought maybe it was when I put the charger in, and it wasn't that, because I tested that loads, and it wasn't that. I thought maybe it was giving it a knock. But it was not that either, because I thought maybe a little loose connection or something in there is making this switch activate without it being depressed, and it's not that either. But there's a gremlin in here that spontaneously, whenever he fancies it, hops up and pushes my voltage or my wattage down by 0.1 or 0.2. Now I think it's funny, to be honest with you, but you know, it's a negative. It is a negative. But it's not a big one. So yeah, it's just, I think it's just one of them things you sit there and I was questioning myself as to say, I've got a thing with numbers, and I hate odd numbers basically. So yeah, I'll put this typically to a round number or a 0.2 or a 0.4 or 0.6. And then rare occasions where I wasn't able to do that, you know, I actually, you know, change it so it's 2 odds. Alright, now I know this is probably weird to hundreds of you out there, but that's just how I am. And it was changing, and I was like, I would never have put it on that, and turns out I didn't. It's just changing itself. But that's one little gremlin with it. Other than that, this has been rocketed around in my car, in my pocket. You know, I haven't dropped it yet, but I have, you know, sort of chucked it on the side, and the general stuff that you will do with, you know, your mod. Not chuck it, but you know, placed it on the side and it's accidentally fallen over or tipped. And the paintwork is spectacular. The only thing that's happened is, I don't even know if you'll be able to make it out, there's a little chip just there, and I believe that's where I actually dropped a K-Fun onto it yesterday. Other than that, no problem whatsoever. And like I say, it's been in my pocket with keys and all that, so it's fairly scratch resistant stuff, this, and I think that's a really good thing, because that's something that a lot of people are worried about, and it doesn't seem to be an issue. So there you go. Overall, I think she hits the numbers. I think it's great value for money in comparison to the legitimate Hana. It was very easy to get. Jayz did a great service. He will be up here, but basically you go to him through our group, and he arranges loads of group buys. There's Zenith set on tops from Jayz as well. It looks really cool. It's got that option for changing the battery, but you can charge it through USB. For me, and I've said this already to a few people, this to me is like an MVP on steroids. I have an MVP, haven't reviewed it yet, but I have an MVP too, and I love it because it's so simple and it's so reliable. Now it doesn't hit them numbers though. It doesn't. That's the problem. You can stick a K-Fun on it, stick it to its maximum setting, it does alright. It's usable for a day out, but it doesn't. It's always just a little bit of satisfying for me. Whereas this is like an MVP on steroids. For me, I love it. I absolutely adore this thing. And they are everywhere at the minute, all over the groups, because Jay's on his 3rd group by now, and they're going out and they're shooting out there, and everyone's getting on board and everyone is loving them. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely love this thing. I can't speak for the Fast Tech clone, but this is the Cloupor clone, and it's bang on, worth every bloody penny in my book. And yeah, I'm definitely recommending it, guys. Head over and speak to Jayz, and he will definitely sort you out and hook you up if you're after one. I really can't sing these things praises this much. There's not this is probably my most favourite device at the moment in terms of powering. Not necessarily Yeti, but you know, obviously. But this is one of my most favourite ever possessions that I've held, and that includes the legitimates that I've held. You know, this is alongside for me my K-Fun. Now, whether over time that pans out, I don't know. But at this particular moment in time, one of the best vaping items I've ever owned. For what it is. Now, if this is a legitimate Hana, I'd be saying the same, but if this was a legitimate Hana, I'd also be putting this in a velveteen box and using it whenever I was indoors because of how much it costs, whereas this doesn't have that issue, because it's a lot cheaper. It's still 65 quid, which isn't no money, you know, it's still money, but it's not 180 plus delivery if you can get one. You know, and I suppose that brings us on to the clone thing. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, they're out there. I'm not saying I agree with the labelling and logo and all that kind of stuff, but then, you know, it is what it is. And people bitching about it. I had someone message me the other day bitching about it, to be honest with you, and if you don't like it, then don't buy it, don't watch it, don't do it, it's up to you, isn't it? But, you know, these people always say, support your mod maker, support them, blah, 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 and then go into Tesco's and buy milk that's brought in from Denmark, as opposed to supporting their local farmer, or buy the oranges and the carrots from Spain, as opposed to going to the local greengrocer, and, you know, buy the meat that's come from Denmark, as opposed to supporting the local butcher. Don't be such a fucking hypocrite. Alright, it works in all. If that's your opinion, then have it, but then make sure it spreads it across to all walks of your life, and don't just do it because it's this and there's an elitist group of people. So yeah, next time you run into Tesco's and you do that, please make sure you think of your greengrocers and your milk farmers and your dairy farmers and your fishmongers and everyone else, right? So yeah, that's my stance on clones. If you're going to have that stance, then have that stance. Go and visit 30 shops and do your shopping that way, but you're not going to, you're going to go to Tesco, and that's just how it is. So, but that's my little rant over, and that was a message specifically to one specific person who got shitty with me the other day, but that stands for anyone who thinks like that and then does that. Alright, so yeah, other than that, guys, spot on, recommend it, hardcore recommend it, I really do. Get one, really get one. The best vaping item I own at this particular moment in time, and I absolutely adore it, I said I would do this, and I'm going to anyway. I spoke to the worm about it, he used it, and I started to impart his thoughts on it. He said he really liked it, really enjoyed it, he's going to get himself one. Said pretty much the same things that I did, and what can you say? You know, it is one of them things. I haven't yet found someone disagree with my opinion on this. You know, have a counter opinion saying it's shit, unless it's because it's a clone and nothing else other than actually anything to do with the hardware or anything that's involved in this. So yeah, my massive recommendation, guys, especially for that price. I mean, they're available from other retailers if you want to go and get them from other retailers. I've seen it for about 85 quid plus delivery. But, you know, if you want to get involved in the group buys, it's not just these that are there. There's loads at Jayz and Grant and others that are buying up, and they're shifting on the groups, and everyone's involved, getting some really good prices going on, so spot on. I know that Vaping Kush has just got one of these, so I can't wait to see his little review on this as well, purely because I want to see if his opinion matches mine, basically. So Craig, if you're watching this, yeah, can't wait for you to get it, mate. Hopefully you'll have it tomorrow. Other than that, guys, I'm done here. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Mr. P, and I shall see you soon.